What boat could a potato like me possibly put up 290,000 damage in? I'll give you a hint. It's Bourgogne. Alright, so a couple weeks ago, the Burger and I did a thing. It's not the world damage record, that's held by one of our Discord members, the ultra sweaty Chad named Harzer, and I believe the damage record is 330,000. We get pretty close in this game though. This is my personal best damage record, not including arena back when there were triple health boosters. So let's talk through what I do and why in this game. I don't profess to be a Bourgogne main. In fact, I've only played a handful of games in her since I released the first video when she first dropped. I considered her pretty strong back then. But now, really, I consider this the best battleship at legendary tier. And I do have some stats to back that up I'll share with you a little bit later. But first, what kind of build are we using in this game? It's actually nearly a full sniper build with Jajard, minus flammable cannoneer and marksmanship. Billy and Angelo are along for the ride in this barn burner, and I feel like it gives this ship a saucy blend of accuracy, reload, and it keeps its really amazing maneuverability. The Burger in this game has a 23.3 second reload. It goes 33 knots without the booster, and has a 13-second rudder. Concealment's just an okay 13.7. We spawned on A side with a friendly Grosser Kurfurst and a Sumner. But before the game even started, I did what every World of Warships player should do. Checked the team composition. I just watched a really great Jingles video on this a couple days ago called Austin Goes Brrrt. And in that game, an Austin player divs up with a Somers player for devastating effect. In essence, the Somers player was just using his smoke to conceal the Austin, which is basically a tier 10 Atlanta with SAP, and then spotting for him close to objectives. Well, the red team really wasn't paying attention to this, and 4 of their destroyers sailed a little too close, and the Austin captain got 2 double strikes against destroyers in that one game. Had they checked the team composition at the start, they might have known better than to go towards the menacing-looking smoke screens. Just like our GK here might have known better than to push straight into A cap. See, the FDG, the Late Republique, and a Z46 are all divisioned together. That's the only destroyer on red team. So our Grosser Kurfurst lost a lot of health. It's usually never a good idea to blindly push a destroyer in a battleship. In fact, in terms of the Battleship 10 Commandments, I'd say thou shalt create crossfires is right up there with thou shalt not blindly rush into caps when there's a destroyer around. At least most of the time. The other egregious thing about this is Grosser Kurfurst has a 6-kilometer sonar. Probably could have got the Z46 off the board, but that's okay. At least GK's actually sailing around. In terms of battleship captains and their sins, I'd say it's nearly always a bad idea just to park, to stop, and to sail backwards. It just makes you too easy of a target, and I promise I'll stop picking on German battleship captains in this game, but Frederick de Gross is just illustrating this really well right now. Our Sommer went into A cap, and that gave me the green light to go ahead and push. With him in front of me, I really don't fear the Z46. I'll be able to see his torpedoes coming a long time before they get to me, so we need to push in and help our Allen M. Sumner. Sumner right now, wow, I would consider that probably the strongest destroyer in Legends. Pound for pound, it's better than the Gearing with an identical DPM and a smaller ship profile. Lucky for us, he's on our team, and with his help, this cap should be ours and a side 1. You might notice we're shooting a lot of HE, and that's just something that you might have to do with these smaller 380mm guns on Bourgogne and the Alsace at tier 8. The AP is really good, but with this quick 23 seconds reload and the great fire chance, you can burn a ton of health off of battleships that want to angle well. This does come back to bite me in the butt a little later on, having the wrong shell selected a couple times when broadsides appeared, and that begs the question, should I be using Azerlane Dunkirk? Maybe so. She has arguably the best battleship skill in the game. It's called Frontal Fire. It lets you switch shell types in less than 1 second if the guns are fully loaded, and that is so strong for so many reasons. Like, look, we have AP again here, Z46 pops up, and in a couple more instances, it really does come back to bite me. I often wonder what this game could have been like if I were using Azerlane Dunkirk, but alas, this was the build we had on. Hey, I'm gonna blame Wargaming for not giving us presets for ship builds. That would just be too convenient to have a Bourgogne build with Azerlane Dunkirk focused on accuracy, or a La Foudre Azerlane Dunkirk build with full secondaries. And here's another example. We have a Minotaur, 10.4 kilometers, and we have HE loaded. That's all right. We use the reload booster here, of which we get 2, and we'll bring out the AP, but it's already too late. The opportunity's over. And that's okay. I think we'll get another opportunity to shoot Mr. Suspect Chicken a little later on. So A-side's looking pretty good. We're not going to chase a Z46. I know there's torps headed towards me, so we're going to try to kind of dodge. See if we can not take any here in the butt. Now, Land of Fire is a map where I notice something happening a lot. It happens in this game as well. It's one of the reasons I bully the Reds so bad here. See, the south middle spawn inexplicably pulls up their little anchors on board and they hightail it to sea cap. This happens a lot in the games I play on this map. Giving up the middle spawn like this usually leads to a lot of problems for your team. Sometimes ships can sail right through the middle and help finish off a flank, or in our case, it means this division that we came up against, the FDG and the Repub, once they're sunk, there's really nothing at all stopping me and my homies over here from setting up crossfires against the rest of the red team. And there's no one to support them as they got sunk. Crossfires are basically what this entire game's about, and our team just did it better this game, and that's where we got the win. So Z46 shows up spotted again because our Sumner is chasing him down. Thank you, Alan M. Sumner. This is absolutely the correct play. So I'm going to try to help even though I have the wrong shell type again. It's not much, but shooting destroyers is God's work. Even if it's just a couple thousand damage. Basically, anytime a DD is spotted, they should be pummeled from every gun on your team from every angle. If more players did that one little thing, they would improve their win rates overnight. And our team did a really awesome job of that. This game just turned out basically so smooth. It's what happens when ships on your team know their roles and they actually do them. So as soon as this game started, think what would have happened if our Alan M. Sumner left myself and the Grosser Kurfurst alone and sailed straight for B or C. Would this game have turned out the same? No. We would have never spotted the Z46. We couldn't have pushed and killed the FDG or the Repub so quick, and I would have had to kite away and dodge torpedoes most of the game. All it takes is one player to do something silly like that to throw an entire game for your team. So PSA, if you're the only destroyer in a match, it's likely that the enemy destroyer will be mirrored at spawn, meaning they're going to spawn directly across from you. It's your job to spot them or straight up kill them. So I hope the Sumner player sees this one day because he's the real MVP of this game, even though we are sitting at 202,000 damage. Really, shout out to the Sumner player. Again, I think the damage could have been more. I could have farmed more damage off of that Marlborough before my team did had I been using Azerlane Dunkirk and just simply switched over to AP real quick. But alas, it's okay. Harzer, your damage record is safe. For now. The red team is down to a low health Des Moines, a Minotaur that is spamming me from over there, and I believe they have a Montana. DM just went down. Minnow is the biggest threat, I'd say, plus the most juicy target in terms of how much damage I could get, so he's who I currently want to blap, and we're just going to keep moving and keep pushing to make his shells miss. Now earlier, I promised you all some stats of Bourgogne. Now, I consider her the most deadly BB at LT in the right hands. Why though? Conqueror is brain dead good. She spams HE, sets tons of fire, deals tons of damage, and has super heals. Yes, it's a very, very good battleship. And Yamato just points, shoots, and overmatches everything. But Bourgogne has reload boosters that you can single-handedly change the outcome of a match twice. You can use it to devastating effect for unsuspecting enemies who think they're safe to turn out, or you could use it to quickly set another couple fires on the one fire damage conning battleship Noob. Not to mention her amazing speed, maneuverability, and fast cycling guns. Yeah, the HP is low, the heals aren't that great, and the 32mm of armor everywhere is pretty susceptible to spam, but if you keep moving like we are here, it's definitely not a fun ship to fight against. Now, we did some fancy maneuvering because we figured the Minotaur torps were coming in, and now we're going to set up for some pretty tasty shots on the Montana. He's the biggest threat now since the Minotaur is kind of hiding and kiting, so let's see what we can do against a broadside Montana, and hopefully not get blapped in return. Stats-wise, Bourgogne is in first place for legendary battleships in terms of damage dealt. Let's see how the Salvo does. Okay, we got a little Citadel there, cool. And Bourgogne is also in first place for win rate, in front of the Conqueror, in front of the Yamato. And I think that speaks volumes. So for anyone who said Burger was a bad ship when she dropped due to small guns, I would say skill issue. So there is one Minotaur left, and there is just a little bit more damage to get from this guy. Now, spam from ships like the Minotaur is obviously very deadly. He dealt a lot of damage, but you can see by just moving around, continuing to play with the rudder and to play with the propulsion, that you can make tons of their shells miss. And it's the same for Worcesters and other ships that people complain about a lot spamming HE. As long as you don't park and sit in one spot, you're going to do much better. And let's go around the corner here and see if we can't pick up another kill. I'm curious though what you guys think of the Bourgogne. I know some people have probably played her a lot more than me. I only have 60,000 XP on this ship, so leave them in the comment section down below. What kind of builds are you guys using? Have you got her in the bureau yet? If not, I would highly recommend it. I'm going to put her in first place, followed by Conqueror, then Yamato, and then GK and Montana somewhere at the bottom. I know Montana isn't a bad ship. She's scary in the right hands. I think it's just my personal preference. Well, with that salvo, the Minotaur is going to go down, and we ended at 290,000 damage. I think the base XP was pretty good as well, maybe like 3,700, not the world record, of course. But anyways, thanks for watching and sticking around to the end. I appreciate it. If you could do me a big favor, hit the like button and be sure to subscribe for future videos. I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.